Welcome ladies and gentlemen, it's Soulfax here, and today I got a question for you. Have you heard of Ghost Recon Online? Not many people have, I'm afraid to say. Ghost Recon Online is a third-person cover-based shooter with some first-person elements to it, set in the near future, developed by Ubisoft Singapore and is to be published by Ubisoft itself. The game uses the Ubisoft-developed Yeti game engine, the same one previously used for Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter series and the Future Soldier game that came out earlier this year. The big difference between this and the previous Ghost Recon games is that Ghost Recon Online will be free to play and multiplayer only. The game is currently in open beta development stage, which means anyone who wants to can download the game and play it alongside other testers like me. The PC version is set to release on August the 15th this year. A Nintendo Wii U version is planned, but there is no set release date at the moment, but we can probably expect the game later this year or early next year. Like I pointed out earlier, this game highly emphasizes its advanced cover system as the main feature in the game. To be fair, the cover system does work great in comparison to some other games that shall remain unnamed. While in cover you can do various things. You can move forwards or backwards and change your rotation from left to right, and you can aim out of cover by either leaning out and aiming from a third-person perspective, or you can zoom in and aim from a first-person perspective. It is true that it takes some time to adjust how shooting out of cover system works, but once you get used to it, it's really simple and effective because you have a really large field of view and not a lot of aiming angle restrictions. It is important to note that by pressing space while running or walking, you slide, and if you're near a wall, you automatically go into cover, which is useful for advancing and changing position. There is no jump feature in this game, which is not a problem because the maps are designed so that you can vault over most of things instead of jumping over them. Vaulting also works while sprinting, so getting over obstacles in a hurry shouldn't be much of a problem if you time it right. I should also point out that you can freely change your stance while in cover to adjust whatever situation you get yourself into. Now, before I tell you about the three classes in game, I'm going to explain the business model of this particular game. Like any other free-to-play title, this game also features microtransactions in the form of buying special currency, the ghost coins, and buying in-game items and other stuff. All the items in-game can be purchased either by the normal in-game currency that you earn by playing matches and winning matches, or the ghost coins that you have to buy online, so it's entirely possible not to purchase a single ghost coin and still have the gear you want to have. There are some cosmetic items available for purchase, but mostly the in-game shop contains armor, weapons, consumables, and nodes to temporarily boost your stats. Weapon customization options are not so expansive as in Future Soldier, but you can still change quite a few things to make your weapon feel more personal. The level cap at the moment is level 30, and by that time you unlock all of the weapons you can use and all of the devices and support items, but you still have to buy all of them if you want to use them. Some later weapons and armor cost a whole bunch of currency, and you don't get so much of it from every match, so if you're not using the ghost coins, it will probably take quite a few matches for you to buy some of those more advanced weapons and armor. But even though people who invest real money into the game will have somewhat better gear than you have, that doesn't mean that you won't stand a chance against them. The weapons are very well balanced and they are mostly just more accurate or have shorter reload times, so in the end it only comes down to who has a better position and of course who is more skillful in firefights. You might still argue that not having the best gear means that you are at a disadvantage over your opponent, but there are still nodes to buy in the in-game store which temporarily boost your stats, so that levels the playing field for everyone, and in the end it all comes down to pure skill. Now that you know some things about the game, I can tell you about the three classes this game has to offer. The classes are the following: the Assault, the Specialist, and the Sniper. The first class I will be talking about is the Assault class. The Assault class is a medium class that is specifically designed to be in the heat of the battle, fighting on the front line using assault rifles and shotguns as their primary weapons. They have medium armor and a fair amount of health to go along with medium speed, so they can move through the map quickly and using the highly accurate assault rifle take out opponents most effectively on medium and long ranges. If you still prefer to use shotguns, you won't be disappointed because the Assaulter can successfully hold his ground even while in close range combat, which makes the Assault class most versatile and the easiest to play amongst the three classes. One of the biggest features in Ghost Recon Online is that every class has two special abilities specific to their class. Being the offensive class that is, the Assault class has two very offense-driven abilities. The first one is the Blitz Shield. The Assaulter rises its shield and charges it faster than running speed and knocks down anything that stands in its path. The shield also deflects incoming fire and reduces most of the blast damage, so the only way it can stop an Assaulter charging is to shoot him from the side or behind. The second ability the Assault class has is the Heat. Using a device mounted on its back, the assaulter causes a microwave effect, stunning any opponents it hits, and it can also kill opponents with little health left. Using the heat on enemies behind cover is a great way of confusing the enemy and making them exposed and blinded so they can be easily picked off by your teammates. So to recap, the Assault class is the frontline fighter of Ghost Recon Online. If you're new to the game, I suggest trying the Assault class first so you get a feel of the game and see what's it all about. So the second class to choose from is the Specialist class. The Specialist class is kind of a tank, meaning he has the most armor and health out of the three classes, but he's also the only real support class that Ghost Recon Online has to offer. Your main two weapons are the heavy-hitting light machine guns and shotguns. Even though LMGs have a slower rate of fire and a substantial recoil, they do have amazingly big magazines, and besides the sniper they have the most powerful rounds in the game. Both of the Specialist devices are highly support based, and the first one is the Blackout. When you use Blackout disables any of the opponent's devices that were in the radius of its effect. It also stuns opponents themselves, making it a really useful device for dealing with defenders that are camped out behind cover. Just like other AoE abilities in the game, Blackout needs to be charged before use, and its effective radius grows and expands while you're charging it, so that means that you should always charge it before charging into battle. The second ability the Specialists have is the Aegis Shield. When charged, the Aegis Shield will expand around you and protect you and your teammates from bullets fired at you and blast damage, as long as the explosive device explodes outside of your shield. The shield moves alongside you, so it can be used as a mobile cover for you and the rest of your team. The only problem is that anyone and anything besides bullets can go inside the protective bubble and attack you where you're most vulnerable. So be wary of charging opponents and bombs thrown at you. Another thing worth noting is that when using the Aegis, you can only walk and not run, so you should always have a teammate walking beside you to protect you from bombs and other dangers. So to recap, the Specialist is a support-driven class with some tanking potential in it. The next class I will be talking about is the Recon Class. The Recon Class is lightweight and fast on its feet and highly agile in comparison to the other classes. It has the lowest amount of health in the game and the lightest armor, but to compensate is by far the fastest class among the three, which makes it perfect for scouting ahead and taking up advantage points before the big boys come and play. The two weapons available for the Recon class are the snipers and the submachine guns. Sniper rifles are designed for long range combat, so using them anywhere else is a really bad idea. There is a lot of recoil when firing a sniper rifle, and you always have to zoom out after every shot to recock the rifle, but on the bright side, the sniper is the strongest weapon in the game, and in most cases a headshot is an instant kill, while it takes 2 to 3 shots to the body to take down an opponent. On the other hand, if you want an up close and personal experience, you can always use the submachine gun available to the Recon class. The SMG features a splendid fire rate and a decent sized magazine to store the not so powerful rounds, but it's still better than running around with a pistol and dying a lot. The two classes that mark the Recon class are the Oracle and the Cloak. So the Cloak is what the name suggests. It's a stealth device that lasts a certain amount of time and it hides the user from sight, and it deactivates if the user takes damage from either falling or getting shot, or if the user shoots his own rifle and blows his own cover. The Cloak is very useful for escaping hairy situations, as well as getting behind the opponent and blasting them away. It's also quite useful for changing positions to get a tactical advantage, or to quickly advance and start to capture a point, or help your team to advance with you. The second device in the Recon's arsenal is the Oracle. The Oracle is a sonar-like device that sends a pulse wave through obstacles and people and detects opponents it passes by. If a player is detected by the Oracle, they get alerted, but your teammate can also see the detected opponent on their screen, so it's a small price to pay for a substantial tactical advantage. So to recap, the Recon class is a stealthy scout that can be useful at long ranges as well as in close quarters combat. So this was my explanation of the Ghost Recon Online game. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed this video. My name has been Soulfax, and as always guys, keep it steady and carry on.